close your eyes for a moment and travel back to a time when Saturday nights meant gathering as a family around the TV, when commercials weren't just those annoying interruptions, but moments we actually remembered. Moments filled with catchy jingles, quirky characters, and bold ideas that shaped not just products, but our culture. What if I told you some of those simple ads did more to capture the spirit of America in the 70s than most TV shows? Stick with me. This nostalgic journey is about to get unforgettable. Welcome to the Nostalgia Nest, the place where stories come alive and memories find their home. Today, we're diving into the electric world of 1970s television commercials, the crazy, the clever, and the controversial ads that helped define an era. This was a decade where ads were more than just sales pitches. They reflected social change, family dynamics, and the hopes and challenges of the time. From soda that promised peace to toilet paper that made millions chuckle, these commercials weren't just selling products. They were telling America's story. And it's one you don't want to miss. Here's a little secret. One of the most beloved commercials almost never saw the light of day because executives thought it was too boring. And another? It turned the idea of women's rights into an ad campaign that sparked both empowerment and outrage. Keep watching, because these commercials are packed with surprises, laughs, and history, all rolled into 30-second chunks of pure magic. Let's kick things off with a commercial that's more than just a catchy tune. It's a symbol of hope. Coca-Cola's legendary Hilltop ad brought together young people from around the world, singing, dreaming, and sharing a simple message. I'd like to teach the world to sing. This wasn't just a commercial. It was a global moment of unity, filmed on a sunny hillside in Italy, with hundreds of voices joining together. It cost a small fortune to make back then, but it paid off in ways no one could have predicted. That song, it climbed the music charts. The commercial, it became the most requested ad in TV history. It wasn't just about soda. It was about connecting people. One sip at a time. Now, let's talk about Mikey. You might not remember his name, but you've definitely heard the line, "He likes it. Hey, Mikey!" This little commercial about a kid who would hardly eat anything suddenly convinced millions of picky eaters to take a bite of Life cereal. What the executives didn't plan was how that simple moment would echo for more than a decade, making Mikey a household name and a symbol of reluctant approval. And here's a twist. There's an urban legend about poor Mikey's fate that's been floating around for years. Spoiler alert, it's not true. But that just shows how deeply this character got inside the American imagination. It wasn't only about burgers at McDonald's. It was about creating a mood. In the 70s, during tough economic times, that bright, upbeat jingle promised more than just fast food. It offered a reward, a moment of joy for hardworking Americans. What's cool is that the people singing in the commercial were real McDonald's employees. It was authentic, and that authenticity resonated with millions. The slogan was so successful that it hijacked the fast food narrative, turning McDonald's from just cheap eats into a comforting, accessible luxury. It became such a cultural touchstone that Saturday Night Live had a blast parodying it over and over. But the fast food battleground wasn't just about catchy jingles or golden arches. It was about attitude, wit, and a craving for something real. And just as McDonald's made Comfort King, another iconic voice was about to shake things up and demand a whole lot more from America's burgers. Suddenly, the fast food world was flipped upside down. by one little old lady and 3 unforgettable words. Where's the beef? Wendy's dared to ask the big question, and America couldn't stop laughing or quoting. That zesty challenge became an instant classic, poking fun at skimpy burgers and championing juicy beef. It showed us that sometimes a bold voice could spark a cultural catchphrase and turn a simple commercial into a nationwide rally cry. If you remember those hilarious moments, you know Wendy's served up more than burgers. They served up pure attitude. Who'd have thought a commercial about toilet paper would become a cultural icon? But Mr. Whipple, the grumpy grocery store clerk begging customers not to squeeze the Charmin, did exactly that. Ironically, this very plea made millions of people want to squeeze the Charmin even more. The actor, Dick Wilson, became so famous that he couldn't shop for toilet paper without being recognized. Over 500 commercials later, Mr. Whipple was more than an ad guy. He was a symbol of everyday household humor and bathroom anxiety that made families laugh across the nation. Here's where things get complicated. Virginia Slims, a cigarette brand, launched a campaign that co-opted the spirit of women's liberation with the phrase, "You've come a long way, baby." It was clever and cynical. The ads portrayed smoking as a symbol of freedom and equality, airing during popular women's shows. But feminist groups quickly pushed back, denouncing the campaign for exploiting the fight for women's rights while promoting a deadly product. The campaign eventually ended, but not before it changed smoking habits and challenged how advertising used social movements. Meanwhile, other commercials turned everyday chores into adventures. Palmolive dish soap became famous when a manicurist casually revealed that her clients' hands were soaking in soap, not expensive treatments. It was clever, funny, and made Palmolive a household name. Then there was Ajax, the stronger-than-dirt cleanser, which used animated fantasy battles, think castles and warriors, to make cleaning exciting. These ads made tidying up seem less like a chore and more like an epic quest. Let's walk through the crunchy crossroads of the 1980s, where snacking was no longer just a routine, it was an epic flavor adventure. Doritos threw open that door with just one bold choice: nacho cheese. That's right, there was a time when Doritos meant nacho and nothing else. The commercials invited you to dive headfirst into that cheesy, zesty chip bag, and every crunch echoed with the promise of kicking boredom to the curb. Kids rushed home just for that unmistakable tang, while the grown-ups stole handfuls when nobody was looking. It was more than a flavor, it was an attitude. Now, blend that savory excitement with the sweet crunch of Cookie Crisp and its legendary, irresistible mascot cry, "Cookie Crisp." Suddenly, breakfast transformed into a winking celebration, with bowls packed full of chocolatey cookie shapes and parents raising eyebrows while kids giggled with joy. That sing-song catchphrase became a playful morning anthem, shouted from kitchen tables across America. If you were lucky enough to pour Cookie Crisp or open a bag of Nacho Doritos in the 80s, you know you weren't just eating. You were making memories. Both brands reminded us that simple pleasures could be utterly unforgettable, one snack at a time. Just when you thought snack time couldn't get any better, the walls buckle, the floor shakes, and magic bursts into the room. The party's about to leap from your bowl to every corner of the house, because childhood wasn't just about what you ate. It was about who crashed the scene and turned ordinary moments into unforgettable celebrations. You're about to meet the legend who didn't just deliver drinks, but shattered the status quo. one joyful entrance at a time. Get ready, because our next chapter explodes with fun. Do you remember the thrill of a summer afternoon turning electric with just 2 words? The Kool-Aid Man wasn't just a mascot. He was a force of pure joy, bursting through walls in a wild splash of color and excitement. Whenever kids ran out of energy or faced a snack time crisis, that giant pitcher would crash the scene, delivering ice-cold fun and unforgettable memories. His booming voice, impossibly big grin, and endless supply of fruity drink made Kool-Aid more than a beverage. It was an event. Every appearance was a signal that ordinary days could transform into instant parties. Whether in backyards, living rooms, or school cafeterias, the Kool-Aid Man's "Oh yeah" promised a wave of happiness. 1970s commercials may have brought plenty of characters, but few became legends quite as joyfully or left walls as mashed as Kool-Aid's own hero. Step into a world where even your kitchen countertop could spring to life. Parkay Margarine's famous talking tub was pure 1970s fun, a simple container with a voice that famously chirped. Butter, no matter what anyone said. These commercials turned breakfast into a mini comedy show, starring humorous back and forth between confused diners and the tub that could not be convinced it wasn't actual butter. The playful butter gag became a household phrase, echoed at family tables and in lunchrooms, sparking laughter and a little disbelief. Parkay's talking tub gave margarine personality, making every spread feel special. It wasn't just about taste. It was about adding whimsy to mornings and sparking curious smiles with every scoop. In an era bursting with imagination, Parkay proved that sometimes the best way to stand out is to get everyone talking, even if it means a tub with something to say. Picture this: the morning rush, water splashing, bubbles swirling, and a spark of energy that only came from feeling truly, zestfully clean. Zest soap was far more than a bathroom staple. It promised a full-speed start to every day. Wrapped in its vibrant packaging and championed by lively ads, Zest didn't just clean. It transformed the daily shower into a small celebration. That famous slogan, "You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean," wasn't just catchy. It became part of family rituals, echoing through busy homes and fueling laughter before the day began. From breakfast chatter to steamy mirrors, Zest turned ordinary moments into bursts of freshness, inspiring everyone to step into the world with extra confidence and pep. Among the joyful sounds of 70s commercials, Zest's message stood out, energizing a generation and proving that every morning deserves that zing of excitement and life. In the fashion and lifestyle world, Nair's campaign made leg shaving a must-have for the modern woman, connecting beauty to liberation, but also sparking debates about unrealistic standards. Folgers coffee commercials turned a simple cup of coffee into a symbol of family bonding and morning harmony, helping cement coffee's place in American culture. And McDonald's took creativity to a new level by turning their entire menu, yes, all those layers of a Big Mac, into a tongue-twisting song that millions of teenagers tried to master. It was catchy, fun, and became a rite of passage. We finish our journey with commercials like chiffon margarine's "It's Not Nice to Fool Mother Nature," which captured rising environmental awareness with thunder and lightning effects, and ads like the Tidy Bowl Man, a tiny sailor inside the toilet tank, promising a cleaner bathroom in the most surreal way possible. These ads didn't just sell products, they lit the imagination and sparked change. So, which memory stuck with you? Share your favorites in the comments and join our growing family of nostalgia lovers. If tonight's trip sent you back, hit like, subscribe to the Nostalgia Nest, and ring that bell, because there's always another story waiting for you. Until next time, keep the magic alive.